Hey, it's Mike Rhyner of Your Dark Companion here, and what if I told you you could free yourself of pain, anxiety, and sleepless nights? And what if you could do it naturally? Sound good? Well, the CBD House of Healing is a women-owned CBD boutique. They can help. They would like to help. They carry only products from their lab made to meet the highest quality and purity standards. Their owner is also an RN. They emphasize building trusted relationships through education. They give you the knowledge to care for yourself. That's what they're all about. Find your relief from the aches and pains, the emotional stress and drain, and sleep again. Sound good? CBDDallas.com, 8550 Plano Road, Suite 101. Begin your healing at the House of Healing.
Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We had a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off session.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Hello. It's another edition of Your Dark Companion. It is Tuesday, the 27th of August, and we are here inside the nurturing biosphere of the mothership with the entire crew. Ashley Bullington at the helm, Shoopy over there creating deviltry in that way that only he can. Our executive producer, Rebecca Moore, brandishing the whip. And yes, we're prepared to edify you in that way that we do. And we've got something pretty interesting, I think, for you today, because we're going to talk about another podcast, which you may or may not be aware of. And if you're not, and you're into this sort of thing, this is probably going to be something that you will find that you can gain a good bit of knowledge from knowing about. Our guests are Julie Fisk and Rebecca Black.
Hey.
That is Julie over there. That is Rebecca over here, doing that Queen of Darkness thing that she does quite well.
What a compliment. You just spoke to my dead soul.
All right.
My cold, dead heart. It kind of does.
Now, they do a podcast that is called Haunted AF.
Yep.
What does AF stand for?
Wait, why don't you guess?
But I'm not going to.
All freight.
Haunted all
Look,
freight.
I don't
Yes,
know-
that's what it
I
how'd
don't
you
know
nail
these
it?
things. I don't know these things.
You got it. How did you guess immediately?
I guess I'm just smart that way.
My mom likes to say awesome fun,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no,
but it's not.
it's haunted. Yeah, it's haunted as fuck.
Okay, haunted as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what this is all about.
Yes.
Fun to be able to say
And-
the F word.
Right?
Before we get into the podcast, I want to find out a little bit more about you two. Now, Julie is a radio veteran.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've heard the name. I don't think our paths have crossed at any of my stops that I've made in the game, but yours is a name I know.
Yeah. We've never worked together, but we've been in this weird incestuous radio planet of DFW
Yeah.
for years.
Where
Yeah.
you just kind of bump up against each other and
Yeah.
then you go on your way, and who knows?
Yeah.
In 6 months, you may find yourselves doing a show together or something like that.
Yep, absolutely. No, I was with Jagger for a long time, Chris Jagger at The Edge,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Zaza at Mix and at KVIL, and Jack FM, KRLD. I worked a lot of
All of
places.
them.
I was going to say, your voice sounds so familiar. Now that we're sitting here all talking, your voice sounds really familiar.
Yeah. Well, and I did movies, covered movies for Good Morning Texas for several years. So that's you could have heard me any of those places. But Rebecca and I worked in the CBS building together.
we sure did.
So
That's how we met.
That's how we met. She was with Jody Dean,
Yep.
and I was with Tony Zaza, and we would be Facebooking each other, bitching about our co-hosts in the morning.
Like any radio personality.
Of course.
And we go meet in the bathroom and try to figure out like who was coming in and stinking it up because it wasn't us.
We had a serial pooper.
Yeah, we did every morning.
And it was neither of us.
No, it was the hot chick. It was the hot chick in the
It
building.
always was, and she ate granola or something every day.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
And smelled like a dead rabbit in there every
time.
That
time.
can't possibly be. That can't possibly be. Hot chicks don't do that.
Yes, they do. They do it the worst. They
And
do
they
it
do
the
it
worst.
because they know it's still hot.
Yes,
they
they
don't
don't
care.
care.
Yeah,
There is a kink for that.
I believe it.
King for everything.
So, were you ever in the radio game per
I was.
se?
Yes, I worked at K-Love for roughly 16 years. Yeah, I was with Jody Dean. I was his co-host for 12 years. And then when he moved on, I was with Jeff Miles for 4 more until they, axed us.
Did that old radio thing.
Yeah, that old radio thing.
Moving
Yeah,
in a
that
different
happens
direction.
to everybody.
Yeah, it does.
It's a TV thing.
They get
too,
very
my
serious and
friends.
call you in there and sit you down and talk about moving in a different direction, all the while not even looking at you.
Yeah. My favorite part was they were like, "We think you've got the talent and the chops, but we're going to let you go anyway."
Oh.
What a glowing endorsement.
Yeah,
Thank
really.
you.
Yeah.
Great talent, great chops.
Yeah.
Gone.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Radio is like one of the only businesses, I think TV, where you can be great at what you do and work your ass
Yes.
off and still get fired
Yeah.
for no good reason.
For no reason.
Yeah.
I feel like that's media in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Agreed.
all the way
Any
around.
aspect, yes.
And I have my Haunted AF mug.
Look at her modeling.
Nice.
That's nice.
Thank you.
So, how did you wind up in Haunted AF or doing Haunted AF?
You're going to have to take the lead on this, Julie, because it's basically all her idea.
Well, she and I started doing podcasts together because we found My Favorite Murder. And we were like, this is what we do. Yeah. We're
Everybody
like,
loves that one.
we just sit around and drink wine and do that, just talk shit. And so we're
We're
like,
good at it. We're good at talking shit.
Right. We think it's funny.
Yeah.
And so
Other people will too.
so we started doing one called Boozy Movies with Sybil
Oh, yeah.
Sybil Summers and Richie Witt, where we would go to a movie screening and then get drunk and record ourselves reviewing the movie.
Do y'all still do that?
No, we
I'm in the
should.
game for this.
I didn't tell you, that podcast was not as successful.
It was not, but we had great people on it. We had
It
so
was
much fun. Yeah.
But it was not.
Nobody
it was-
listened.
Nope.
Nope. And so we stopped for a little while. I have 2 daughters, and we always love doing ghosty stuff. We go on Bigfoot hunts. We used to. Now they're older and way too cool to do any of it. But we would go on like
Funny
ghost
how that
hunts.
works.
I know.
Teenagers.
So I wanted to do a ghost podcast with them, something spooky. And then I realized it just wasn't going to happen. So I hit up Rebecca because she and I always, that is something we love talking about radio, and we love talking movies and ghost stories. We were both really into paranormal shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do you think about doing this? And she was on board from the start. And so we got together and we came up with a name. She made the logo, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
How long you been doing this?
It's going on 6 years now.
That's crazy.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Yes. And
We're old news.
no, act like you know this, like you've been listening the whole time.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
old fans. No, the thing that is different about Haunted AF, because a lot of people will think that we like go out and creep around in haunted buildings or do investigations, which we will if we're drunk enough, but
Right. And
that's
we love doing it.
We do, but like nothing ever really happens.
Right.
It's pretty anticlimactic. So what we share ghost stories. People will send us ghost stories. They send their audio or videos of themselves telling it. So it's cool. It's like things that have actually happened to them, and they're telling it in their own voice.
Yeah,
So that's
it
what's
really
different.
started out with like our friends. Like we had ghost stories, and then we knew our friends had some ghost stories, and then we were like, spread the word, and that's sort of how it came about.
And it was fun because in the beginning, it was like a lot of radio people. So you had all these
Yeah.
cool voices on there.
Right.
Because I remember asking one of my girlfriends, and she was like, well, I don't have like a cool voice like that. I'm like, well,
You don't need one.
You don't need one. In fact, it's like it sounds better when it's just a very real sounding person. And we get stories from all over the world, these really great accents. We just got one from New Zealand today. We got a huge following in Australia, which is wild.
Yeah.
How many episodes you got so far?
I think it's like 180.
Wow.
And then we've got close to
Damn.
200 on
Girl.
Patreon. Yeah. That's it. Okay.
We've
Is
been
that-
working hard, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, you have.
And I will
Is
say,
that where they can find you on Patreon?
well, you can find us anywhere. The podcast itself is everywhere on any podcast platform. And we also have a YouTube channel, hauntedaf.com. We have a TikTok page. What else? What am I forgetting? But then,
Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. But then
Patreon on type
is
patreon.com
exclusive content.
/HauntedAF.
It's OnlyFans, everybody.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's naked feet.
It's naked ghosts. You can't see anything.
No, but I would start with the regular podcast because our Patreon page sucked in the beginning because I didn't really know what I was doing putting stuff up there, so it's a little lame. But it gets after about 50, then the stories start getting really good.
They say they have 159 episodes, over 1.5 million downloads.
It's actually 1.81 right now.
I just looked at it too.
checking that
Sorry,
shit.
these are the things we get excited
Yeah,
about.
checking that daily.
Yeah, you should.
We've been saying almost 2 million for like a year now,
Right.
so
and
it's like,
it's gonna
come
slow
on.
creep to that 2 million mark.
Yeah.
And 15,000 weekly downloads. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
That is
great.
pretty
That's when
good.
we're releasing episodes.
Yeah.
So we do seasons. So sometimes we'll be off for a little while, or we release once a month or something. So
But we're actually gearing up because obviously we're headed into spooky season, October, right? So we're about to start doing weekly again. So we're going to have a whole influx of
Yep.
So
stories.
are y'all like
and-
32 weeks out of the year, or y'all?
I don't know.
That's-
Are we doing math?
Sorry.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole broadcast part. You don't do math.
It was 3 months on, 3 months
That's what I
off.
thought.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
So we don't know. We just pick and choose when we're on.
Right now we've been a little flexible with
Yeah.
it just because we have been running out of ghost stories.
Hey,
Like you said, this many episodes.
I can take
after
y'all on a
while.
ghost tour
Oh,
we-
where at?
Okay.
in Granbury, out where I live,
And we've actually gone to Granbury and tried
Oh,
to do some
boo.
ghosty things there.
with
didn't
the
have any luck, though,
Jesse
did we?
James
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
and the John and the Jesse James and John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got people.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we did the spooky spectacle out there. So
Okay.
we were
With
out
the
there telling
convention.
ghost stories. Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. No.
So how do you find the stuff?
People send it in.
Yeah, we have all
Really?
people who listen. They will sometimes grab a friend and be like, "Hey, let me record you for a Haunted AF," and then they send it in to us.
Or they
they'll
just
email
record.
us.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like that's what I did all afternoon was just go through emails and listen to things that people sent or just read what they wrote out. And, sometimes I'll be 3 hours into it and I won't have a single usable ghost story. It's just like dead grandma after dead grandma after,
Yeah.
And
It's our new segment.
Yeah.
Just dead grandmas.
We actually have a segment called Dead Pet of the Week. Just because there were so
Which
many.
is a lot of fun.
Yes.
It sounds very harsh. It's not. We make it very lighthearted.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
And people actually started making up their own theme songs because we would try to just make it up as
sing
we
it.
go into it. And so people started sending in their own theme songs.
Yeah.
But it's very sweet.
Yeah.
It's do you guys have I feel like everybody has dead pet experiences and maybe they don't even realize
right.
it.
Yeah. I've got a few.
But my grandma is super into this, and she'd be all about telling y'all all of her ghost stories.
Get Granny on the phone. We need
Call
her.
us.
So when people send in this stuff to you, what makes a story good enough for you guys to take it and run with it? Oh God! And what happens? You'll have to excuse me. I haven't listened to the podcast yet.
Oh my God!
We're going to after this.
I'm going to. I know that this makes me seem very ill prepared.
No.
I apologize profusely for this, but I got to know what happens when somebody sends you something that you think is good enough to work with.
We play it.
Yeah, we use it.
So do y'all just play it then, or do you
Sometimes
break it
we
up
play
into
it.
stories?
Sometimes, like if it's a written email, we'll read it. Like I'll take a story, she'll take a story, and then of course we interject in between, and a lot of times make jokes and
since
stuff.
We're old audio people, so we do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
We know how to work with audio. We have a Rodecaster board and everything. So what usually happens is I'll take the audio and I'll tighten it up and make it sound,
really good.
really good. And so I'll play it for Rebecca. She hasn't heard it, and she'll be like, "Holy shit!" And then we'll get excited and we'll discuss it.
She loves to surprise me.
I love to surprise her. So, and sometimes even if it's written out, I'll send her an outline. I'll be like, "Don't read this beforehand. Don't look at the picture beforehand."
Right.
So, but yeah, we just. You're right, and sometimes it's very hard to find the stuff that's like going to break through, and so it's really, I think the stories that are best are the ones that you just don't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, what? We had one recently. It was so great. People out on the beach, and it's at night, and they're having a romantic evening, and they look over, and there's this woman standing on the beach, kind of near them, and the woman turns to her friends. She's like, "Hey, we got company," and she looks back. And the thing is now floating out over the water. Mm-hmm. So they start watching it, and it's going back and forth from being over the water and then being on the sand near them. And then they realized it was a woman. I think she was holding a basket, and she didn't have feet.
No legs.
No legs, just hovering back and forth. And they finally got up and went in, and she was still out there doing her little thing. So it's stories like that are chilling, but also it just doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard before.
I have to see video on that one.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh yeah, that'd be great if there was video.
I'll bet this is one of those things where you probably start out and you're kind of about a story that they send you, but once you guys start riffing on it, it turns into something really good.
Yes and no. We try to only use the stories that are gonna stand out.
Yeah.
Because you're right. A lot of them is like, a lot of them are not that great.
Well, I was about to say, like in the beginning, we were desperate for stories, right? So we took a lot, we played a lot, all that kind of stuff. But then when you get to a certain level, right, and you're like, okay, well, we've heard footsteps in the hallway, so we've got to have something that's bigger than that. Mm-hmm. And so literally sometimes it's us begging.
Yeah.
Like, please, we need cool stories. We need scratches and bites. And
well, it is so amazing because 9 times out of 10, I'll be like, damn it, this episode's going to suck.
No.
We've got nothing but dead pets, a couple of shadow people,
but then
one UFO.
And it turns into something amazing.
You kind of got a checklist, don't you?
Right, yeah,
We do. But then an email will come in and it'll be like, hey, I just found the podcast.
Yeah,
and
it's always one person that saves us at the end.
They're like, I got this thing going on. And they're amazing. I mean, we've had some profound stories, and we've had people that we've developed real relationships with over the years.
Sure.
People calling and asking us for help because they're having so much activity in their house. We're like,
they think y'all are the Ghostbusters.
Yes. Yeah, we're like, we don't really know how to do that, but we're like, Sage is the answer.
yeah, Sage, ask them to leave.
Yeah, we love to give we love to give advice.
Yeah. Do
I don't know
y'all
if it's
have
good.
Exorcist ever on? Have y'all ever?
No, we've talked a little bit about some exorcisms, but that's not anything.
I feel like we should have y'all should have like an actual exorcist on that gives people like, hey, here's some advice to how to do this.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, exorcist, because an actual exorcist needs to come through the Catholic Church.
Right.
So they're real weird about it. They won't talk to anybody.
Right. You have to have approval.
That's even weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have approval and stuff like weeks in advance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But we have had stories from people who've been exorcised.
Yes.
Or people who've been possessed. I don't really like going that angle because I feel like the second you bring demonic stuff into it, it gets a little weird. Yeah. But I don't know. I have all kinds of theories about that shit.
Then have y'all had like ghost hunters on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had people we've had Jason Hawes on. We've had, oh gosh, what's his name?
Oh,
the guy's a
Why
former
would you ask?
rapper.
I don't know.
Oh shit. We've had some of the Finding Bigfoot guys on.
Yeah.
We've had Jim Harold on. We were on Chris Jericho's podcast. He's a wrestler.
He's not a paranormal
But
guy,
he
just likes ghosts.
He used to do a whole lot of paranormal podcasts. So yeah, we've
Can you imagine if Chris Jericho shows up at your house and he's like, I'm ready to exorcise the demons?
come in.
Yeah, put him in the walls of Jericho.
Like, he's gonna body slam him? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Jumping from the high road.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you won't do, that you won't touch, that's off limits for you?
Ooh, I don't think so. We haven't
Talking about
found that
ghost
yet,
stuff, by
have
the
we?
way.
I try to avoid psychics.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, I do try to avoid psychics.
We've made that very clear from the beginning that we're not like super into psychics and mediums and stuff like that. We also come at every ghost story from kind of a logical angle. We try to figure out, could it have been something else besides a ghost before we say, yeah, it's a ghost.
Right.
How many do you determine to be ghosts?
We try to. Well,
Have there been any stories that we've thought have been bullshit?
no. Every now and then we'll
Question it.
question it,
maybe.
but we try not to use any stories that we feel like can automatically be debunked, unless occasionally we'll have a story just to shit on it for the sake of it.
That's so true. Like
Yeah.
our TikTok's full
I
of those
respect that.
videos.
Yeah. But yeah, we try to only use things, and I think Rebecca and I both try to come from a place of belief, even just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
So you kind of give people the benefit of the doubt right
yeah.
from the start.
we try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's something like this. If you don't approach it that way, then the thing's just going to go nowhere, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's also funny, we do have quite a few people that listen who are like, I don't believe in ghosts, but
Yeah.
this happened to me.
Well, and I think a lot of people feel that way. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's had weird shit happen to them. We have a segment called Weird Shit also. But like everybody's had that stuff that they just can't
I almost
explain.
sang the theme song, y'all.
Weird shit. Okay, that's
It's to the tune of Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the whole thing.
we actually, that's somebody else. We sang it one time, joking around like that,
Yeah.
and somebody took it and like
Remixed
produced it
it.
and turned it into like an actual theme song.
That
It's
is
pretty
awesome.
great.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Y'all probably think we are so stupid.
No, we
I love y'all. This is amazing.
It's okay.
Like y'all, I feel like y'all fit in here very well. We're the misfits.
I must tell you, I kind of had doubts about this, but you two are killing it.
Come over to the dark side, won't you?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
your podcast can't be called Dark Companion if you're not willing
That's
to
true.
come across.
That's
Yeah.
true. I crossed long ago.
Well, wait. So, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah. It's okay to say no, by the way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there is something else out there.
For sure.
I don't know if it necessarily manifests as a ghost. In fact, I don't even know if I have an idea in my own mind of what a real ghost might be all about. But like I say, something, as I'd like to say and have said so often, shoopy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That states my entire philosophy on life.
Yes.
Yeah. It's true. I totally
Yes,
believe
it
it.
is.
Actually, I agree with you 100%. Like, is it a ghost? We don't know. That's just what we're calling them right now.
Right.
When we find out it's a different dimension, then we'll talk again.
Yeah.
about-
Well, and she and I both have had experiences.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it's like, not Bigfoot, unfortunately.
No, I
Yeah.
wish. That's
Yeah.
my dream.
She's seen a UFO.
I have seen a UFO.
I want to see a UFO.
Do you want to hear about it?
Yeah, I do want to hear
Y'all
about
gonna
it.
think I'm crazy?
You can't drop that out here on your Dark Companion and not tell us about
I'm
it.
not joking you. I was with two other radio people, by the way, Kathy Jones and Debbie Diaz, and shout out to those lovely ladies. But we were on our way home from a K-Love event, and we're driving, headed back to Plano. And all of us at the same time look up in the sky and we're like, what is that? And it is like a diamond shape, just object hovering with lights like all around it. And this was like maybe 2008, 2009. So this is pre-drone. And we decided that we were going to all draw pictures of it to see if we really all saw the same thing. And this is like a few days later. And sure enough, we all kind of drew the exact same picture. And it's like this diamond shape object. It did nothing but float and hover just like this with lights that kind of sparkled all the way around and at the top and at the bottom.
So the
So you all saw the-
F-35.
You all saw the
before-
same thing.
We all saw the same thing at the same time.
And nobody had any real idea what it was.
Not at all. Not at all. And
They
then
claim it was an F-35 though.
they what?
Oh, weather balloon.
Oh, a weather
Yeah.
balloon. I don't know. Are weather balloons like diamond shape?
No.
I didn't think so.
But the original, there's supposedly some kind of fighter jet that Lockheed's been working on that's
Right.
supposed to look like that. A couple.
Oh, like the stealth.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
the stealth
Yeah.
is kind of triangular.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see it in DFW.
Right.
Like,
No, this was up. This was for sure up.
And wasn't it in the newspaper? Wasn't there?
There was some little something in the newspaper, like a blurb about it. And I remember we talked about it the next day on the air, and we had people calling in that were like, "Oh my gosh, we saw that too. What is it?" But nobody confirmed or denied anything. No companies came out and said like, "Oh,
This
that was
is
just us
mine."
testing something." So that's my UFO story.
So
Very
how
uneventful.
did you two get together? I mean, how did this come about? Whose idea was this?
Oh yeah,
Julie's.
it was mine.
100%.
Yeah, but we were talking about ghost stories. Just, I mean,
As
when
friends.
did we start doing that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
'cause-
how we figured out that we were interested in weird stuff.
Yeah, because we both knew that we were all about it.
Right.
Can I tell my ghost story?
Of course.
Please do.
I've had a couple of like weird little things, but my big one, and I believe like shit. I keep hitting this. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
I think
It's
a lot
there
of
to
times.
be hit.
I think
We're not live. We're not live.
Wait. Okay. I think a lot of times when people tell ghost stories, they try to like do a narrative around it as like, oh, well, my grandma passed away, so I think that maybe that was her or something. And I don't think that's usually the case, but this is a narrative. Okay, anyhow. When I was 14, I moved into a new condo with my mom. And it was in the 80s. And so we lived in this big, it was super cool, 3-story condo. And I had the whole top floor to myself. But the top floor really scared me. And I don't know what it was, but I woke up one night and there was something kind of hanging down by my head. I was laying on my back. And I looked up and there was just all the sparkly stuff floating above me. And it looked like hair hanging down by my head. Yeah.
sparkly stuff?
Sparkly hair.
Sparkly up here and then like hair hanging right here. I just knew there was something right there,
creepy.
like right over me. And so I just remember I jumped up and turned on the light and I put my hand like this, and it was just, when the light came on, it was like this smoke that got sucked up into the ceiling. And I remember it was a popcorn ceiling, so I could see like a little shadow for a minute. I just stared at it for so long, like, what the fuck? What did I just see? And I finally got up and I ran downstairs and dove in bed with my mom. And I was telling her what happened, and I think I slept with her for like the next 10 years. I was terrified.
Until you got married.
Yeah. Terrified of that room for so long. And, she told me I was crazy. We blew it off, moved on with our lives. And then I think it was 3 or 4 months later, she told me the man that we had purchased that condo from had moved out and moved in with his girlfriend. And not long after he had moved in with her, he had beat her to death. And so he didn't do it in that condo, but I really think that was her. For whatever reason, because I never saw anything else again, nothing else ever happened in that condo, but I just felt like, there it is. That had to be her.
I wonder if it was the same night.
I've wondered that too.
Right?
Because it seemed like...
I've never thought that before.
Yeah.
Like her soul was trying to like latch on to somebody like in the plane. Okay, I'm a full
I
believer
love
of like
that.
planes and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how like there's different like
The
frequency
multiverse.
levels and that kind of stuff. So when you said that, I was like, holy shit, like what if it happened that same night?
Have you ever heard of like, is it Plato's theory of the cave? I love this. The idea is like, oh God, I'm going to get this all wrong. But like if you were in a cave and there was a fire behind you, but you were like tied to the wall or something, you could only see the shadow or the reflection of the fire off of the wall. In your mind, like that would be the fire's existence. That's all you knew of it because you couldn't turn around and see the actual fire. So I think sometimes that must be what ghosts are. Ghosts are like the shadows on the wall that we can see because we can't, for whatever reason,
See that plane?
see the thing. Yeah.
So this sounds so weird when I say it. People are gonna officially know I'm crazy.
This is a ghost story podcast.
So
we welcome it.
have y'all seen like the theories that are going around of like people moving into like higher frequencies and it's calling like ascension?
No.
So where like you could be asleep and have a really vivid, like almost real dream, and you could have been in like a different timeline.
Oh shit.
Like, oh no, there's so much cool shit going on right now.
I think that fits like what we've kind of thought all along, that maybe that like.
Well, and so when you said that, it made me kind of think of those things, because they're talking about with like people in general right now, like the Earth's frequency is changing as it is.
Right.
And so like people's body frequencies are having to go higher, which means that like they're technically all ascending into higher planes on top of it.
Like, vibrate
okay, yeah, guys, I've got like the weirdest like shit going on around here. Yeah, no, when you said that, it made me think of those things.
No, that's amazing. And it makes you, I don't know, when you said that about dreams, it's like, sometimes you just have dreams and it's like your brain's vomiting.
Some of them are real as fuck.
And it's some of them, I had one last night. I wanted to tell you about it. It was so weird. It was my grandpa sitting in the back seat with my grandpa, who passed away probably 95, and he was hugging me and I was crying real hard. And I haven't thought about him, sorry, but I haven't thought about him in a long time. And I woke up and it was one of those, it was just like, that didn't feel like a dream. I know. I'm like, did I get a visitation or whatever? So sorry.
I definitely had ones like that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're tripping out over
sorry.
here.
That's fine. This is what we want from you guys.
Go down a crazy rabbit hole.
Oh, hell yeah.
If you leave,
ladies, I love y'all.
Bit of space,
y'all just made a new fan. I love this.
All right, now tell me this. You guys are working together at K-Love or somewhere like that?
Well, we were in the same building. I was at K-Love and she was across the hall at...
I was at... first I was at Jack.
Right. And then KVIL.
And then KVIL. Yeah.
Okay. But you were in the same building. Mm-hmm. And did you know each other, or had you met, or did you just see each other around?
I did come on to you. I do remember that. I slid into your DMs.
She did.
I was like, hey, lady, I know you like movies and I like movies. We should do like some sort of review, something for our website.
Right. Well, I was covering movies for KRLD at that point.
Right.
And Rebecca was like, let's do some together and we'll just put it on the CBS radio website. So we started doing video movies to reviews together. So we had to go see the screenings together. So then we had to hang out. And
that's literally how we became friends.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as getting around to this that you're into now, who was the first one to turn the conversation that way?
To a ghost story.
Was it you, Rebecca, or Julie?
I think it's got to be Julie.
It was me, because I had been out of radio longer than she had. And I had started dabbling in the podcast thing. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy podcasting. I love producing and the whole audio aspect and everything, and storytelling.
And you can say fuck.
And you can say fuck, and nobody's going to turn around and fire your ass.
Or you guys can get high on the air without anybody saying anything.
Yes. I was going to say, we should have had that frequency. We should have had that frequency discussion at the House of Healing.
Yes.
Next time we're there,
that would have been.
Let's bring it up again, because
hey, I've got TikToks that I can show y'all and everything with this stuff.
And that's what we do. We talk about that, and then also the
like simulation theory.
Simulation theory.
Have you guys heard of
simulation theory is amazing.
It's amazing.
All right, I have not.
Okay.
Clue me in.
It's like you've seen the movie The Matrix, right?
It's literally The Matrix.
No, I haven't.
What?
Okay, well, we're going to have a movie night one night.
There's several movies on this list, by the way.
It's like it's the whole idea of like we're living in a simulation or in a computer program.
That none of this is real.
Yeah. And one day we'll be able to unplug and get to the real world.
Is this
that's like kind of the same thing with like ascension theory.
Is this like the crazy airplane lady?
No, I think that was
just that motherfucker is not real.
Okay, she though was high.
I think she was just
She's admitted she was high or drunk or something.
You never saw that with?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You never saw The Matrix?
Basically the same theory, only way more high tech.
The thing is when you start talking about it, it does. It sounds crazy. It sounds stupid.
Until you get to a plausible point.
And then all of a sudden you start realizing you're believing it.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy. Like if you look into it enough, you start seeing too many things that make sense.
Like I remember very vividly the first time that we talked about the simulation theory. Okay. And me and her, we are making jokes. We were like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But like, okay, let's hear everybody out. And then by the end, I think of that episode, we were like, we're in a simulation.
We are totally
in a simulation.
It's like
ourselves into believing it.
That's almost like the world creation theory too.
Yes. Yeah.
Where like, this CD, no, you're good. Like this CD with this video game on it,
right,
has this thing, and now it's upgrading, and now it's become its own world, and then somebody in there like makes the same thing, and they come up with a video game, and now that becomes a world and that kind of stuff.
Now with technology, what's one of the first things we did?
Sims.
We're the Sims. Exactly.
We created another world. And now here we are on the edge of AI and quantum computers. And it's like, we're just going to do it all again. So, again, pass the ball because...
It's like the Lorax.
The Lorax?
No, no, was it the Lorax? No, Horton Hears a Who. It's like Horton Hears a Who.
Okay.
That's what it was.
I'm not familiar. It's been a minute since I've read some Dr. Seuss.
So in Horton Hears a Who, this elephant creature is holding this little world in a dandelion.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And he's in a bigger world and they're in a bigger world, but it all comes back down to this world that's in this dandelion that they have people, and he's hearing the Who's because he has better ears than everybody else. So he's hearing the Who's and what they're talking about and what's going on, and he makes friends with them, but they're in a whole different world than he is.
We do get simulation theory or glitch in the matrix stories is what we call them, where people will call it and it'll be like something happened. And
too?
No, but yes and no. But there was one about a woman who driving home from dropping her kid off at preschool.
That's one of my favorite ones, actually.
And that was a great story. And this was her telling the story. She called it in. And she took the wrong turn, but then realized she could not find her way back.
Yeah, like her actual street just wasn't there where it normally is.
Right. And at some point, as she's driving around trying to find her way back, she passes somebody else.
I think that's what happened to us on Friday.
That's what happened to us when we got here.
When we got here, can we talk about that for a second?
Okay, that happened to me the other day. I'm here several times a week, I can't find it either.
Spoiler alert, y'all gave us the wrong address. However, where we were at, we were like, well, in theory, it should be right here.
We kept looking at
GPS. And we're like, this is a glitch in the matrix.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of transposed to the numbers in the middle.
Who gave you guys the address? Did I do that?
No, he did.
No, it was me. It was my fault. I've written that damn address so many times, and I've gotten it right every time.
My mom and I looked your house up on Zillow at the wrong address.
No.
I will admit though, it was like I was like, this is either the greatest prank they've ever played on two ghosty, spooky, glitch in the matrix people, or like we're really in the simulation. Like
all part of the plan.
We right now, maybe in it. We're in it.
I love that. It's great. Have y'all seen?
Do you think Deja Vu is a glitch?
We have talked about Deja Vu. I don't know that we've called it anything other than Deja Vu.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one of the first things that people point to when it comes to, I mean, that feels like it makes sense.
It does. I mean, and I've had lots of deja vu moments that felt very, very, very real.
Some people say that's part of like you did it in a different time.
It could be. Who knows? Maybe it's my, I don't know, alter ego somewhere else. Yes. Yeah, my frequency is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Is anything coincidence to you guys?
Gosh, I don't know. I question that all the time.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
We're getting very philosophical around here.
Yeah, right? This is a deep conversation.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't dig it.
Yeah. I think there are things that are just simply coincidences. I do.
I think it all depends on when you ask me. Like right now, I'm like, the world is just a big ball of bullshit and everything happens for no fucking reason. It's just
on a good day.
I know. And then other days I'm like, it was all meant to happen.
Roses and butterflies.
Yeah. That's absolutely, Sorry.
I love this.
This is amazing.
Whenever something that seems like coincidence happens to me, like I have a random interaction with somebody that turns out to be very significant down the line.
Sure.
And I start to think, well, if I had done this at a certain time or gone there at a certain time, then that person and I might have never interacted. Mm-hmm. And I can talk myself very easily into the idea that that it's just sheer coincidence that happened that time to work in my favor.
Yeah.
My husband and I'm from Georgia. He's from Chicago. And we met in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Our timelines crossed out there for about 1 year. And we've been married for almost 24 years now. He's the only person in the world I could be married to. You know, I hate most people. But like when I think for you,
it's like, don't we all?
But when I think about how close I came to just even like the night that I met him, you know, I didn't really want to go to the stupid bar with my girlfriend, but I went, and like how close I came to not having that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Now it's a divine intervention or coincidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who does know?
I wish I knew.
I think that's why that's part of the fun in talking about it is that we don't have like factual answers to any of this.
No,
right?
no, you don't. It's a never-ending question, never-ending process, a never-ending
Yeah.
thing to try and understand.
Right. I think that's what makes
And
it
you never
fun.
get there.
I
You know?
bet one day, you know, our brains are constantly growing, you know, and it's like that our ability to understand things grows all the
Right.
time. So I bet one day science will prove a lot of stuff that we think now
Yeah, I
that
think
we're
that's
like,
possible.
I don't know what the hell, you know,
Yeah.
but that one day we'll be able to see what it actually is.
Right.
We'll be able to see that Bigfoot really is a shape-shifting dimension traveler.
Ooh,
Right.
and that there's Nephilim and all that kind of stuff. Do y'all get any of that stuff?
What is it?
The Nephilim and all that in the mountains. Okay, I'm all over the place now.
Nephilim?
What is a
Yeah.
Nephilim?
Is that like a
Nephilim?
cryptid?
Is it a
I'm like,
creature?
We will talk about this outside
Okay.
of this because I would look like a real
You're in a
crazy.
safe space
Why
to
don't
talk
you
about
just
all this?
come on the podcast?
You
Yeah,
know what? I'm down.
please.
Let's go. We can talk about all the TikTok stuff I find.
That explains it.
It explains a lot of
Learned it
things.
on
Okay.
TikTok, so it must be
I'm just
real.
curious, but I oh my gosh, I love TikTok conspiracy thereries. They just make me so
No,
happy.
conspiracy theories are a lot of fun.
I
for
love
sure.
them. They're great. I
Like,
don't
do
know
you
what
think
I
Katy
believe.
Perry is really John Benet Ramsey.
Wait, I thought it was what's her face?
She is. It's just a funny conspiracy theory.
No, okay, so I have seen that.
I don't believe it.
It's true.
But it's hilarious.
It's I
That is a
mean,
good one.
if you it's interesting.
It is.
I don't know if it's true, but you look at it and you're like,
no, the things that people like make up and come up with are so creative, and I'm like, that's a good.
and some of it could like you look at it and you're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe. That might be spot on.
With a homeless man at the post office.
Which one? The one with his junk out or the other one?
The one with the theory.
Okay, somebody tell me your favorite ghost story.
They just told ghost stories.
I know he wants to know their
We
favorite.
have 6 years of
paranormal
them.
story or take the stuff that you guys do and tell
just
me
do
what.
it.
Yeah.
And,
What do you think is our greatest ghost story that we have ever had?
Gosh, I don't know.
I'm asking her because I don't remember anything.
Well, we always there's one that we always go back to, and if you haven't, it's our most famous ghost story, and like the video has been viewed the most. Chris's Ring Doorbell story,
yeah.
which I almost hate to tell it just because we've told it so much. But if you're not familiar with the podcast,
Well,
then-
our fans need to know this story.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and this one's fun because we have a video proof, and then we actually
We witnessed it.
We didn't witness it. We witnessed something.
Something.
Yeah. So you tell the first part, and I'll tell the second.
Okay, first of all, I don't even remember where were we going. This guy Chris, who told us his house was haunted, and he was a friend of a friend, so we felt safe to like go and investigate.
No, tell the first part. Okay, I'll tell the first part, and then you tell that
This
part.
is why I can't answer questions. I have no memory of
This is
things.
why we're together, baby. I take
know.
care of
I
you.
was
Don't
like,
worry.
You gotta lead me.
Okay,
into
I'll
it.
take part one, and then you can tell that part.
Okay.
So, our friend John Anderson told us about this friend who had gotten this really weird,
I forgot about that.
video on his Ring doorbell, and so he's like, "You gotta have this guy on the podcast." So we talked to this guy, Chris, and Chris had moved into a house and started getting these 3 a.m. notifications on the Ring doorbell. And so he would pull up the camera and it would be a video of something floating around outside, which we call it orbs or bugs, whatever.
Yeah, we're like,
There was
"Eh,
something
no big deal."
floating around that looked really, really creepy.
Right.
But then he started realizing that there was a sound, that you could hear a voice. So on one of them, he hears a voice that just says, open the door.
Ooh,
And it's like,
no.
Very, very
She said
soft.
it very sweet. It was more like, open the door.
Yeah, open the door. It's like a mad person going, open the door.
Yeah.
And then the next one was, I'll kill you. Yeah. And that was the one
That was the one that got us. The I Kill You.
That's the one we played that on the Kelly Clarkson
That's
show.
right.
Yeah, because it was wild. And that's, if you go to YouTube, the Haunted AF, you can see that video. Yeah. And so it was great.
No.
So we're like, can we come to your house? And he was like, absolutely. We'll open some bourbon and some wine. We'll sit on the front porch.
We fully intended on having like the typical 7th or 8th grade year old sleepover type situation.
Hang
we're like,
out.
Yeah. We're like, and nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna drink some wine. Yeah. We'll throw some holy water here and there. Like whatever. It'll be fun.
We had.
Did you have salt too?
We had salt.
Yeah, we did have the
That's
salt.
what I
We
meant.
came
Not
so
sand.
prepared. We had rosaries.
We
in
had
our
rosaries,
vehicles.
and we had holy water. We had,
No, I keep holy water on me.
That's hilarious. But we'd never done anything like that before because we're not
Anointed oil and holy water.
investigators. So we were like, let's get every cliche ghost whatever that we can possibly get and take it with us.
and they go
that's
drink
exactly what
bourbon
we
at
did.
this guy's
Right.
house. And one side note, his whole
Cleanse the
neighborhood
bourbon.
is haunted. Everybody in the neighborhood has stories, different things happening at their houses. So it wasn't just Chris's house. So we go out there.
And we decide we're gonna set up a camera and do like Facebook Live, and that was when Facebook Live was all the rage back then. Okay, everybody, don't make fun of us. We're not that old. Anyway,
It's
so
still
we're
the rage.
setting up the camera or whatever, and I don't have the camera on yet. I pulled it up or whatever, and Julie is sitting in frame or whatever, trying to get everything ready to go, and then all of a sudden, the Ring doorbell starts like shooting static at us. And both me and her, we look at each other, and I'm not kidding you. It was like we were frozen in time.
Like we should have just phoned
All I had to do was press the button on my phone to get this Ring doorbell yelling at us.
And so we just stared
and
at
we
each other.
I couldn't do anything. And it was a solid 10 seconds. This thing was like at us.
Sounded like Morse code almost.
It was wild. And then it stops, and then we freak out and get excited, whatever. And then we were like, hey, can we see the video from your Ring doorbell? What happened? And when he pulls it up and shows it to us, and it's frozen. It's Julie and I frozen. The static is going, the audio is playing, but Julie and I are frozen. The actual video is frozen.
Ooh.
It was wild.
It was crazy. And we were both like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Like, did that just happen?
And it was like instantaneous. It's not like he could have gotten the video edited, done anything. Like he just showed us, and it was, and that's. Do we have that? I don't think that's on YouTube. I think that's on our Facebook page.
Maybe so. But I just think it's funny because we were both like, nothing's going to happen. This is not haunted. It's not going to happen. And it was within the first 5 minutes of us being there.
Yeah.
Like quite literally got out of our car. We had walked inside at one point and then started setting up, and that's when it happened. And then didn't the light go off when you were using the bathroom in his house too?
Yeah. And I remember.
And then the garage door.
There was
next
just
door.
all kinds of weird shit going
All
on when
kinds
we were
of
there.
stuff.
And then y'all are gonna find out it's some kid that lives a couple doors down. He's got all these houses rigged.
Great. Good for him. Thank you.
Like,
Because
that was amazing.
That was on the Kelly Clarkson show. We'll
it
take
did.
that.
Yeah. Fine with that.
No, it was.
that is.
And that's, I mean,
fucking
we've had
scary
so
as
many.
shit.
That's just one of the few that we actually really got to be involved in. We were at the Grand Galvez in Galveston about, gosh, it
been a
was
year
and a half
Literally
ago.
a year ago.
Because so often, but we have those moments where something will be happening. We'll be like, looking at each other, but it was funny. We had cat balls. Have y'all ever?
Not an
like
actual
real cat balls. I was like,
No,
it's
like
a
the
cat
toy.
It's a cat toy, and it's something that paranormal investigators use,
Which is hilarious.
Set them out, nothing happens, and all of a sudden they'll start lighting up. So you're always waiting for something to touch the cat ball so it'll light up.
Right.
And we had been sitting in the room doing a live. We were live on YouTube and
Everywhere.
then TikTok and Facebook, just waiting for something to happen. Probably 2 straight hours of lives. And we turned everything off. And I remember I turn around and I start putting everything together. She screams so loud. And I knew something good was getting. It took me a minute to get my ass around to figure out. And one of the cat balls was going off on the bed.
Yeah.
And she's literally standing there pointing at it, screaming her head off. It was
like, what are the odds? It didn't go off for 2
The whole
hours while
time.
we're on live
The whole
camera,
time.
and then suddenly it's going off.
It knew.
Because they don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
They like fucking with you too.
I was gonna say, no, they love to be seen. They just don't want to be seen on camera.
That ghost knew I wanted it so bad, and then waited.
When something like this happens, do you guys get more scared or excited?
Oh, excited.
Yeah, ghost shit
Hands
doesn't
down.
scare me
We're
anymore.
not scared of anything.
No.
So all this shit doesn't scare you anymore. You just get excited about it
That'd be fucking
because you know it's
terrified.
weird.
Yeah.
No, and it's awesome.
It's so cool.
And it's a little validation, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, because we clearly want to believe,
Yeah.
you know? And there's no way that every single story that's come into us is real, you know? But even
When
if
you get that one that has that little bit of validation next to it, you're like, yes,
thank you.
all for that.
Love it.
All
Your
right,
turn
well,
for
give
a
us
ghost story.
Give
No,
us
he
a good
just did.
story.
Your turn for your ghost story.
We've done nonstop talking, and this is your podcast.
Hey, you are the interviewee.
No, remember, this is a conversation.
No, this is a conversation.
Thank you, Becca.
I legit feel like we've done all the talking.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, and we
You're
don't
fine.
really do interview, we do conversation.
We
Yeah.
do conversations.
Right? I'm like, I feel like we'll just shut up for a minute.
All right, well,
Tell us
we all
about
know
your ghost stories.
about the fabled lady of the lake
Yeah.
Yes.
around here.
Yeah.
You ever dig into that?
Yes. Are you getting ready to tell us the Lady of the Lake
No,
story?
no,
I was about
I'm
to
not.
be-
I'm not.
Okay.
I was about to say, we've been begging for a real Lady of the Lake story for the entire time we've been on the doing the podcast.
I have somebody you need to talk to.
Okay.
Like, has a real one?
It's a real, they live in the house where the lady always directed.
You're good.
Okay.
we
have
need to
not
have
heard
them on the
that.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, but tell your story.
We all know about that. We all know about how back in the day, kids would be out parking somewhere at White Rock Lake or Keys Park or somewhere like that, or maybe out in Cockrell Hill when it was nothing, just anywhere they can make out and stuff like that. And as they've concluded their business, whatever that might be, and they're about to drive away,
This is great since we had a parking lot conversation earlier.
they hear somebody come up from behind, and they look around and they see a man coming up from behind. And whoever's driving takes off right then, right there. Got the car started, everything ready to go, takes off, and they hear the man hit the back of their car, but they get away from him. But they're very, very scared. And then when they get home, as things turn out, the man had a hook for a hand. The hook is on the bumper.
What he didn't tell y'all is that he was the hook man and he left it on the bumper. No, I'm just kidding.
How many hooks did you have to buy it?
Wait, did you really do that?
No, no, no.
I was like, yeah.
Wait, can we go do that
First of
now?
all-
I say we
First of
go
all,
find
I
a
would have
hookup
been
spot in
very,
some
very
small town and
adventurous,
do
which
that.
I was not when I was a kid. And if I were going to be on the other end of that, I would have to find a girl who would go parking with me, and I couldn't.
Wait, so
do that.
you never went and did it?
Your arms?
No, I could not. I could not.
Scare a girl into your bed?
Yeah.
I could not. But there were a couple of places that were said to be haunted
Okay.
by everybody. And as things turn out, one of these places still stands today.
Ooh.
It's at the corner of Camp Wisdom Road and Hampton Road
Okay.
Okay.
in Oak Cliff. It's on the northwest corner of that intersection. And it's a big, big house, a big mansion. And for years and years, the whole time I was a kid growing up out there, nobody knew anything about the people that lived there. Nobody ever saw anybody coming and going from out there or anything. And it was said to be haunted. And it was said that whoever owned it, whoever was in the house, always kept one light on with a candle in one of the windows. And it, armed with that information and against that backdrop, the whole thing seemed pretty creepy, but I never heard of anything really happening there or anything like that. It was just a house that kids said
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
was haunted.
Was there a candle in the window?
There was something. There was some kind of light there.
Is it still standing?
Yeah.
That might be
We'll go
something
check
for
it
us to
out.
go check out.
Yeah.
Is this the one where people heard screaming?
No, I don't think so.
Is it the one where they heard screaming first?
It was built in 1933.
Yeah, it was.
And it is. There,
Oh yeah.
there
wait
were
a minute, here it
reports of screams for help could be heard from time to time on the property. And of course, this was a sensation to teenagers,
Oh sure.
such as myself.
So did you actually go?
No, but
Too scared?
yeah. I wasn't about. I was a very timid kid, and I was not about to mess with this stuff. I mean, nothing good could come to me by rousting the paranormal. You know,
What a great word, rousting.
Rousting the
I'm gonna
paranormal.
use that tomorrow.
Guys, we need to make bumper stickers.
Right? Rousting
Haunted
the
AF.
paranormal.
Rousting the paranormal.
T-shirt. We'll be like, we'll put your face on it.
okay, sure, do it.
I say, get on it,
Let's
Gordy.
do it.
I'll take a picture of that when he gave y'all that look a second ago. I'll make sure y'all get a picture of it.
Perfect.
The home was owned by this guy's great aunt, and he would visit her in the house often. But he heard his peers and friends and stuff talking about ghosts being there, and he was quite amused by it all. And he knew the real reason. They said one of the things they said was that there are a lot of strange sounds coming from the house as well. And he knew the real reason why, but he didn't tell them. He just let them think this. The real reason was because his great aunt who lived there raised peacocks.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And you could drive by there on Camp Wisdom Road at the back of the house, and you would see peacocks running around out there. But you know, I never knew that peacocks really made any identifiable
either,
noise or
dude.
anything like that.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Yeah.
Do they really? How funny.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like Siamese cats.
Huh. I
thought
had
you were
no
gonna
idea.
I thought you were going to say it was a don't breathe situation. There's a chick chained up downstairs.
In the basement.
That would have been a better story.
I don't know. I like the peacock.
I like the
good
peacocks.
twist.
That's good.
It's a good twist.
He says his great aunt was just as straight as she could be, never held hostages, never had wild parties or anything like that herself, you know. She just lived in that big house by herself and just really, really was into peacocks.
I was gonna say, what value do peacocks bring? Like, they don't lay eggs, do they? Like,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they do.
chickens?
They do.
Peacock
you
eggs
eat
are actually really,
The guy says that his
really
aunt would
expensive.
incubate
Yeah.
the eggs, and a lot of the times she would raise the peacock chicks or whatever the baby
little
peacock,
babies.
little babies herself.
Mini cocks.
And they did keep them in pens to keep predatory animals in the war away. But she would say that they'd tell him that a lot of the time there would be people who would drive by there at night and just kind of loiter out in front to see what they saw or what they heard or what they thought they saw or heard. But this house still stands today, and it's beautiful. And I've always been just absolutely fascinated with it.
See, this is how you can turn yourself into the neighborhood witch.
Right.
Get a couple of peacocks.
Yeah.
And just let them
creep it out.
Yeah. Screaming in the backyard. Scare the neighborhood
all
kids.
hours of the night.
It's perfect.
I like it.
Now, since then, the lady died in 1978. She was 92 years old. The house was sold. It has changed hands several times. And at one point, it was the set of the movie Tender Mercies with Robert Duvall. But now it is it's part of a large swath of land owned by Minister Tony Evans.
I wonder what he's
And let me tell you something. If you have not been to a wedding conducted by Tony Evans,
I have
I
not.
haven't either.
You have never heard a wedding. If he is marrying you, he will look you right in the face at very close range and tell you what you will and will not do.
They will run over you.
Has he looked you in the face?
No, he has not looked me in the face, but I've been to one of his weddings.
Okay.
It is most serious.
I think the priest here is a little scarier than the peacocks.
Yeah.
Did the marriage last?
Alas, it did not.
Alas.
Did not follow instructions.
No. They did not follow instructions.
What does that
That's
mean?
today's sad story.
That is today's sad
He said
story.
he looked him right in the face, told him what to do and not do.
Now, also, there was this, and this has a little visual data with it.
Ooh, I love a graph
This-
and a chart.
This was the haunted house of North Oak Cliff. This was located on Plymouth Road.
Ooh, nice.
Now, as you can see, that's as haunted houses goes.
It
Or
looks
they,
like-
as they go, that's pretty legit, right?
Yeah. So what happened?
So what happened?
Yes,
Do I
this
need
is
to
known
model
as
it?
this was known as Granny's house.
Granny's house.
Oh, Granny. I like grannies.
And
Hold on, can I just
Let me
read this
see.
one part here? Hold on.
Yeah.
It says the sisters lived here alone, without electricity, gas, or plumbing, daily terrorized by heckling youths who regarded them as witches.
yes, that's right.
These poor little old ladies, they were poor. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
They were like terrorized.
Calling them
Like
witches.
the police were there every day.
Oh.
But that house sat on the one of the most valuable plots of land in Dallas,
I believe it.
and it was long ago torn down.
No,
and
burned down.
or
Burned
that's
down,
right.
killing the last
They were
sister.
killing the witches.
Yeah.
It burned down.
This feels like a Scooby Doo, doesn't
little
it?
bit.
Yeah, because it was on this expensive land. These
Right?
women were, poor.
Totally a Scooby Doo episode.
They would have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
But everything, I mean, at night, everything looked like that the house was haunted.
Right.
And there were witches inside. And being kids, we all were just absolutely convinced that that was what was going on. Just like
Oh,
at
so
the house
you were
on
the one
Hampton.
terrorizing these ladies.
That's your fault. You killed these
that was
women.
me.
You killed them.
I terrorize everybody.
Right now, it's just everybody in this
At least
room.
he's honest. Terrorize everyone.
Yeah.
But they let it get all run down and neglected. They all died off, and I don't know who wound up owning the property, but it was sold. The house was torn down, and now burned down, and so they
Killing the
sold.
last sister.
They sold the property, and it's probably, I don't know, very, very pricey condos or some such now over
I know,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Or CVS.
Or CVS.
And Walgreens.
Right.
Dollar General.
But yeah, those were the two big haunted house stories of my ill-spent youth.
So this house isn't haunted?
It's all folklore.
I don't think so.
No?
Not this house.
Nah.
Well, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, just like you don't feel like it, you never
But
feel.
you know, growing up, every kid has that one house in the neighborhood that they have the story
No, I'm saying
about.
this house.
Oh, this one?
No,
Yeah.
this house is awesome.
yeah.
You're an older.
Yeah.
I grew up in a haunted house, but this house is not.
Well, and I only mention it because we did have a really great ghost story about a haunted house in this neighborhood, not on
Oh,
this
really?
street.
Ooh,
Yes.
tell us more.
That has been turned.
Like 100 or more.
Right. That's why I was hoping this place was
Yeah.
going to be haunted. But
Yeah, we're so disappointed.
If
How do you
it-
not
if
bring
it
us a
is-
haunted house?
If it is, the haunts have not come out yet. They have
Yeah.
not made themselves known.
yeah, they're
If
too
it is,
comfy.
take
Yeah,
it
right.
with
They're like,
you.
we're-
However, after this, we will be more vigilant than ever.
Yeah.
We'll be more
Pigeons
vigilant.
and squirrels do terrorize us, but not ghosts. No.
No ghosts.
No. But after this, we will be very,
Oh, you're going to
very
be haunted
vigilant.
as fuck.
You will,
after
yeah.
this. Definitely.
Yeah.
We're just leaving it everywhere.
They're
Yeah.
leaving the ghost with us today.
So many people who claim that they are haunted after they listen to our
That's
show.
true. That's actually true. This happens all the time.
All the time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even people that we personally know, I know that sounds really hokey to say that. That really sounds like we're making that up.
Right.
But I've had some real level-headed friends say to me, like, God, I was listening to you guys and then the weirdest thing happened. So, and it's, yeah.
That's interesting. So you're summoning the spirit.
Yeah, maybe so.
Oh God.
We've opened up some sort of portal.
My childhood home on purpose.
So yeah, we need to. You said you
gotta
grew
tell
up.
us
Yeah.
your story.
Oh, hey. Well, that's fine. Come grab a mic.
Yeah,
get on
get
a mic.
on a mic.
Yeah.
There's-
Plenty of mics around this
That's what
place.
they're here for.
Okay.
Becca, we got 6 mics for a reason, but we only have
Alright,
5
this
right
is-
now.
Actually leaning, but. Gosh, you got it? Okay. So, okay.
You could have come and got my mic.
That's okay. So I grew up in Terrell, and I grew up in the very first prairie home. This is gonna sound super weird. A Sears kit house.
Oh, that's awesome.
First one.
That's really
brought in
cool.
on the train to Terrell. Yes, and it was a prairie style. It was beautiful. Loved it. Built in like 1903.
Cool.
We moved in there in 75. And I wrote this actually in a piece that I wrote. I had 2 kitchens and we had a ghost under our stairs. And the ghost under our stairs was not super mean, but he did not like it if we were in the crawl space under the stairs.
Yeah.
Which we used kind of as storage, but it was also where my brother and I, because we were 5 and 6 when we moved there, we came from Oklahoma where we had an actual basement, but we didn't have a basement anymore, so we were immediately taught that's where you go for tornadoes.
Right.
And he didn't like it.
How would he let you know?
He would say, "Leave my house."
Oh, he would actually.
So you was a voice.
He would it was a man's voice who would say, "Leave my house."
Wow.
If you crawled into the crawl space.
Those are always serial killers.
What did that sound like?
Leave my house.
Now,
Just very conversational.
Yes, it was just very.
No,
about the whole thing.
anything like that.
So that's going to be a drop.
ever hear the voice, or was it just you and your brother?
My mom didn't hear the voice. What's kind of strange is my mom, very early on when we moved in, was like, "There's bad stuff in this house. This is not a comfortable house.
Yeah.
I'm not happy in this house. It's a very uncomfortable house." My mom's a New York Italian Catholic. She was like not happy. But she also, like, by the time we were all in, my brother and I were in high school. I had a younger sister, wasn't, but he would have nightmares, and she would swear that, like, she would hear him at night, like tossing, turning, whatever, come upstairs, and she's like, "I promise you," he would start immediately crying and talking about flames on the walls, and he was going to go to hell. And she was like, he would say it all the time, and I really, the house would get warm, the room would get warm. She would be uncomfortable.
That's awesome.
And she's like, "I really, really believe our house is haunted." And I was like, "Well, I mean, there is a guy under the stairs."
So maybe it's him.
I feel like maybe.
Now, do you and your brother still talk about this, like, to this day?
Or
has he forgotten?
We have.
Okay.
We have talked about how it was super weird, and it's so it's kind of strange. We have 3 older siblings, and then there's like an 8-year gap in my brother and me, and then a 7-year gap in my sister. And so when we moved there, my older siblings were all in high school and pretty much, leaving the house pretty quick, and they all joked about it, made fun of us, but not like, they never said, "Oh no, that's not happening," or anything like that. So who knows? My younger sister didn't really experience any of it, but she was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, maybe because it wasn't as busy.
Yeah,
there's
maybe.
not as many people.
Right.
There's not as much happening in the house. But when you move in with 6 kids, it's different.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we really terrorized him when we first moved in.
Probably just really loud and obnoxious kids, and they were like, "We're done with you."
Definitely
Can
all
I
really
ask-
loud and obnoxious.
Can I ask y'all, have y'all been told, or has it been like seen that more children or like more people in their youth have had those interactions? Because supposedly there's like a theory where kids are more susceptible to those things because they haven't had the like what's it called? The jadedness of the world.
I think so too. I think it's a filter. Yeah. We actually, this is one, we have so many stories like this that it's another segment. It's creepy kids. So we always have creepy kids stories where kids are constantly saying things.
We talk about this a lot too, the kid thing.
I will say, not long after we moved in, one of the weird things that happened that wasn't a bad thing, but my mom was visited by her mother who had died just shortly before we left Oklahoma. And was kind of weird. She woke up and swears she was standing at the foot of the bed and said, Mom, what is it? She just said, hey, I just want, everything's going to be okay. I just want you to know everything will be okay. And that was it. And so that was kind of like the first thing, because she, like the next morning was like, oh my gosh.
Did something happen?
Grandma was here and she told me everything's gonna be okay. So this move was good. Everything will be great. And then she was like, our house is haunted and we have to get the hell out of here.
Even if it is my mom.
Yeah. And so as soon as the sixth child was out of the house, my parents moved to Japan and left. But,
oh wow.
So they really moved.
Yeah, they were
really
like,
moved,
we gotta go far away.
Far away to go away from it all. Yeah.
So you guys got any creepy kid stories?
Oh God, so many. We had a really great one. This is one of my favorites. Do you mind if I?
No, go, because I'm not sure which one.
I'm a Mike hog.
We both are. It's fine.
So we got a story. It was actually audio. This woman called in that a guy that she knew in high school had contacted her, and he belonged to a paranormal group. And he was wondering because a family had reached out to this paranormal group because their little boy was drawing very disturbing pictures talking about this man that kept showing up in his house. And he called the guy, what did he call him? Gar. Gar kept showing up, and the pictures that he would draw was a man with really, really curly red hair and this great big bulby nose. But he drew him in these coveralls with blood all over him.
Yeah.
And so
creepy if your kid is drawing that.
Yes.
On any level.
And he also mentioned to the parents that Gar got mean when he was drunk.
Right.
And the kid was like 3 or 4 years old.
Like probably wouldn't know what drunk meant.
Yeah, they were like, there's no reason that he should know anything about this. But they contacted this woman because she had lived either in or near the house where this little boy was. And she said that the person this kid was describing was her grandpa Gar. And that he had this thick red curly hair, and that one of his like side hustles is that he sold animal pelts. So he would go out into the woods and kill animals and skin them, and he would come home with blood all over his clothes, his overalls, and that's what this little boy was drawing, was Grandpa Gar. So, but she was so funny. She was like, "I'll tell you, if my Grandpa Gar is haunting them, they're screwed because he was an asshole. He was not a nice guy."
Didn't she say like he was a mean drunk?
Yeah, she was like, he was a mean drunk. The kid nailed it for sure. Yeah, but that's
just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many kid stories.
Yeah, creepy kid stories all day long. We had one recently. This was just like a couple episodes ago, where the mom is putting the little boy to bed, and he said, "I don't like the skeleton that stands at the foot of my bed at night." And she was like, "Is he here now?" And he was like, "No, he's waiting for you to leave. He's down by the pool." And he said, "I don't like it when he bites me." Yeah.
That is, some kid told me that we'd be leaving the house right then and there.
Well, she said there was another night she's in bed with him reading a book, and he says, "Mom, don't go sleep with Dad tonight." And she was like, "Why, honey?" And he's like, there are 2 men that stay in your room, and they don't like you and Dad. Ooh. And she was like, "I'm gonna sleep in here with you tonight."
Yeah, forever. I'm like, we'll just be bunk buddies for the rest of your life, son.
But the skeleton's gonna come in and bite your toes or something.
Don't like that.
God, that's almost red rum stuff.
Or bruises or anything like.
I don't think so.
That's a good question.
That's a good.
But we ask her that.
We get no, but we do get lots of ghost scratch and ghost bruise stories.
I'm a big fan of ghost scratches. I want one.
Have you had
No, you don't.
The weird stories of the poltergeist coming in and he had sex with me?
No! When we had very early on, not that it wasn't sex, but it was the one that liked to watch. Oh! Yes! Oh my God, that's so long ago. But it was in Austin. It was they were remodeling the house or whatever.
They were remodeling the house, And they would be in the middle of it.
Yeah, and he would flip on the lights while they're doing it.
Boy, talk about a vibe kill.
Yeah, right? Like, nobody wants to see that.
But she said after a while, we were like, we'll just let him watch.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess at some point you just go.
So they like voyeur in it. I guess they wanted a voyeur around.
We've had enough stories that we're like, they like to come at the most intimate times.
Oh,
we have
yeah.
a lot of bathroom stories
Yes.
where like people sit down to get ready to do business and then king it because something's literally
Yeah. Oh my God. And we had one
messing with them.
recently where a guy and a girl they were having sex and he was like looking at himself in the mirror while they were doing it. And then he realized that there were feet hanging from the ceiling right behind him. Do you remember that one? Yes.
We've had a lot of like intimate moment ghosts show up.
And then what's his name?
Bobby Mack.
Bobby Mack.
I'll
yes.
never forget Bobby Mack.
Yeah, he was like trying to hook up with this girl. He was like 16 years
Right.
old.
It was like his first time or something.
Yeah, she lived in a haunted house, and things were getting like thrown around off the dresser and
At
stuff.
first, he thought he was like rocking her world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when he realized that's not me,
Yeah.
throwing magnets across the room.
Yeah. And then suddenly the door, and he said the girl went, someone's getting angry. And he thought, he was like, I thought she was talking about me, you know? And then
She was trying to piss the ghost off.
Yeah. And the door just went flying open, and he jumped up because he thought it was the chick's dad.
Yeah.
And there was nobody there. What do you say? He's like, I ran out of there harder than times in 1920.
Something like that. With his pants down around his ankles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Needless to say, I don't think he finished.
Yeah.
That sounds like what a first time though, to be like, oh my gosh, I was going to be having sex with this woman and a ghost stopped it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, how does
holy hell.
How do you tell people that story?
Yeah.
He tells it to y'all.
Yeah.
Well, he found you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
We
At
told
first-
that. We told that one on Kelly Clarkson.
We
show.
did.
We told everybody.
Do you remember though when he called in, we were like, "This bro is absolutely punking us."
Yes.
Like, we thought he was messing with us. He's not really going to tell a story. He's here, like, you know how, like, I don't know, what was it, Howard Stern when he used to do the baba booey and then the guy
yeah.
would hang up or whatever.
Yeah, because
we thought that was happening to us.
Well, he's a stand-up comedian, so he starts off. He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, I got a motherfucking story for you, fucking bitch girl." You know, we were like,
cackling like the witches we are.
I know, we're like,
So
this
funny.
can't be
He's
real.
like, "This isn't real."
Yeah, and we kept in touch with him, and he had multiple stories after that. He had a really sad one about his uncle. Remember, he saw like his uncle's ghost walking around, and yes, Bobby Mack, he's awesome.
How many frequent participants do you guys have on the podcast?
You know, people will kind of come and go. I mean, we have a lot, but they, you know, it's not continuous.
Yeah.
Most of them are mad at us because we're kind of on a hiatus.
Yeah.
Or sort of. We're on
Yeah,
a
they'll get
hiatus.
pissed off, but and it is weird because it's like when you have activity in your house, it's like it kicks in for a little while and then it just kind of goes away and there's
Right.
never any. But we keep in touch with a lot of people just because we end up liking them.
Yeah.
We had these Stu and JB. And JB actually reached out to us. These two guys who live together in Annapolis. Have I already told this story?
No.
No,
Okay.
not here.
Yeah, I was just on.
I'm sure we've told it somewhere.
Yeah. So they reached out. JB reached out. He was like, "We're having all this activity. The doors opening and closing, TV coming on." And he was like, "I just thought, do y'all have any advice?" And we were like, "We're stupid podcasters.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing.
But I was like, I think we can find some, like, you know, investigators nearby or somebody who can help you out. So we hooked him up with a couple of paranormal groups out there. But then they got this video. He's like, "You won't believe what happened." And it's such a simple little video, but it's Stu and his girlfriend having breakfast. Because when all this started happening, they started setting up cameras in the house. And they're sitting at the table, and it's just a camera in the kitchen. And Stu whistles for the dog. And you hear him he's like, "Come here," whatever. And then right after that, you hear a whistle down the hall.
That's a good whistle.
Thank you. It's almost exactly, but it's wild because in the video, he and his girlfriend look at each other.
Like, did you just hear that?
Yeah, and they get all freaked out.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's such a simple video, but that's another one of our most viewed because it's just like, and then everyone started telling us you're not supposed to whistle inside. There's something about whistling inside at night. You're not supposed to do it.
Is that like
we never heard
Beetlejuice?
of until that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
that's
no.
like Beetlejuice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just haunted at Mike's house now
Yeah, totally haunted
by
now.
whistling.
Yep.
And it's
That's not
night.
the worst thing that's happened here, I promise you.
Not even today the worst thing that's happened here.
So, are there really intermediates out there that people who think they're being bedeviled by evil spirits can call to help out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's lots of paranormal groups for sure.
Yeah, there are lots of people. But I think, just one of the basic things to do is ask it to leave.
But you don't be mean, just stern, forceful. Like, hey, you've got to go.
You gotta
And
get outta here.
Seems to be the trick for a lot of people.
Yeah.
People say that about yourself too. Like if you feel like you're being possessed or like you have somebody coming like into your
politely
space,
just ask it to get out
tell
of
it
your
to
body.
leave because it's like you have more power than you really think you do. Like
Right.
another conspiracy theory, but like you have more power and you have more like spiritual power than you think you do. So by saying I cast you out and I want you to leave, like you're supposed to get rid of it.
I think people hate it when I say this, but I also think it's important to make sure you are getting mental health. Anytime you are feeling oppressed, unstable, anything, because, just to have somebody look at you and to say, like, you're okay, you're all right, and walk you through it. And so often, a lot of these things, voices, so much of it is like triggered, or it can be triggered by stress, which is really amazing. There's lots of weird shit that our brain will do that we don't talk about because we're scared of looking crazy or scared of like worrying people. But so much of this could be coming from inside of us. That's my own personal theory. But I think if you feel strong internally, you're going to feel better approaching any of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
Well, Julie Fisk and Rebecca Black, you guys have been great.
Thank you.
We love y'all.
I didn't know what this was going to be like. I'll admit it. I didn't know where this was going to go. I didn't know what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
But I did not expect this.
I hope it's a good idea.
No, it's been so much fun.
It's the best.
Okay, great.
I want to know, what did you think you were getting?
Yeah, really, I do. That's a good question.
I thought I was going to get, weirdness.
I mean, we are weird.
We are weird.
We're fine with that.
Yeah.
He thought what does he call us?
I mean, I thought I was going to get like really scary weirdness or something.
Yeah. We try to make it fun.
We do. Did you think we were gonna come in like all black?
Oh my God, we should have. Maybe we should have done
The
that.
thought did cross my mind.
Yeah.
Come and
And
dress like
you
witches.
got the Queen of Darkness thing going there a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like we should give you a black.
We could have worn like.
No,
all
y'all
of our
need
witchy stuff.
need like really cool like a black crown for you.
No, we've
Love
got
it.
And then
legit
for you-
leather witch hats.
Oh my gosh, that's
that-
They're
amazing.
real fancy.
Yeah, they're
He thought
really
he was
badass.
gonna get two salty old broads, other than me and Becca.
Not too far off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too far off.
Instead, he got two. Instead, he got two witchy ones. No, he got witchy ones.
Witchy old broads.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The podcast is Haunted AF, and you can get it wherever you get your podcasts in this world.
I was gonna ask that same question.
She said awesome fun. Am I supposed to say it?
Yeah.
As fuck.
That a boy.
So check it out, ladies. This has been a gas.
Awesome.
And I thank you very much for
Thank
doing
you for
it.
having us.
Yes, thank you. And it's so nice to meet you.
It really is. It's like we've known you forever, but like I've never been face to face with you in the same room. So it's nice to finally.
Pretty
It's an
awesome
honor.
for me,
Yeah,
too.
It is.
an
It's an honor. Legend.
The
Radio
honor-
legend.
Yes.
The honor is all mine. Believe me,
Wow.
you guys are great.
Everybody's just blowing up your ego lately.
Yeah, right? Well, keep it coming.
Yeah. Let's have a little more of that.
Can we toot his horn a little more? Hey, Mike, you gotta read that you need to do.
I do. I got to tell you one more time
got
about
you.
the House of Healing and what they have there for you. Maybe you're in pain. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you can't sleep at night. Maybe you'd like to do something about all that stuff, but you would like to do it naturally. The House of Healing can help you out. The CBD House of Healing is women owned. It's a CBD boutique. We were there just last week, and they can help. They would like to help. They carry only products from their lab made to meet the highest quality and purity standards. Their owner is also an RN. She emphasizes building trusted relationships through education. In other words, they're not just going to give it to you and shove you out the door. They're going to tell you what they're giving you, how to take it, what it's going to do for you, the whole 6 and 7. It'll give you the knowledge to care for yourself. That's their ultimate goal. You can find your relief from the aches and pains, the emotional stress and drain, and sleep again. Does that sound good? I bet it does. CBD or CBDDallas.com and at 8550 Plano Road, Suite 101, right here in Dallas. Begin your healing journey at the House of Healing. And now, you know what I'm going to do?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Should we be scared?
Yes. Be very afraid.
Oh, I don't have the drop.
Oh, you don't?
He doesn't have the drop. No, it's mine.
See, you're not going to play it?
Well, we're not live.
No.
You're gonna have to do it.
You got to do it.
Okay.
You've hyped them up. You've got to show them. You've got to do it for them.
All right.
I don't know what to expect right
What's
now.
getting ready to happen?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm going to take my pants off. All right. I'm going to go take my pants off. Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.